So it's 7:56 in the morning, and we just got finished with about 15 to 20 minutes worth of our son having a meltdown because he didn't want to go to school today. Our son, AJ, is autistic. We didn't even know. We had no idea that he was actually autistic until he started school. They always tell you to look out for the signs, and we thought we were doing that, and his doctor would always say that he was okay. And he is okay, but as far as development is concerned, he was always on track. And we go from being on track to having 15, 20-minute meltdowns. When AJ was born, the pregnancy was normal. Everything was fine. But when it came time to actually birthing AJ, I pushed him out really fast. Frankly, the ring of fire hurt like hell. And when he came out, the nurses put this lifeless lump on my chest. I just remember just looking at him, and he was gray, and then looking at the nurses. But I just remember thinking, why is he on my chest, and why are you not trying to revive him? Why are you not trying to revive him? So he basically wasn't breathing. He came to, right, with some aggressive catting and all that. He came to, and he was fine. Everything was fine. I mean, there weren't any red flags with AJ. Maybe in hindsight, something a little strange was that he didn't open his eyes for his first 2 weeks of life. And him not opening his eyes was a big deal because he had these crazy, neon green eyes, like the Spotify symbol. Just this inhuman shade of green that you just don't see on people. He had that. So everybody wanted to see his eyes all the time, but his eyes were closed for the first 2 weeks. So other than that, he was normal. He loved cookies, he was bouncing around, he walked at age 1. There are some things about AJ that we considered maybe different, but we didn't really have a frame of reference because he was our first kid. And everybody else was saying that he was fine. He's just a kid. No, he's a boy. He's just active. Oh, he's such a boy. He's such a boy. But some of those things would be kind of like a recklessness in his actions, just throwing his body just wherever and not really having an awareness of his surroundings. Other things would be, we knew that his memory was just great. You could show him a complex phrase just one time and not think anything of it and think that he didn't even hear you maybe. And then 6 months later, all of a sudden you'll hear him repeat that phrase. It's wow. So while he would never speak on command for you most of the times, we always knew that he knew words, he knew language, he knew how to communicate. He always communicated with my partner and I just fine. It wasn't a big deal. Until it was a big deal. Until he went to school. And then things started to become different. Within the first 2 weeks of school, we were already getting phone calls from the teacher and the school psychologist saying that I don't know if we have the resources to help your son the way he needs to be helped. Mind you, all this time, I wasn't specifically told that I could have him evaluated at the school. I had no idea. And also around this time, my partner and I, he was really the one who brought autism to my attention and saying, maybe AJ has autism. You should read up on these things. And I was wow, all this makes sense. We weren't sad. We weren't upset. If anything, we were relieved. It was also interesting to find out that this behavior was not normal, quote unquote. But a lot of the things that he did were things that I used to do when I was little, including sucking your thumb. I didn't stop sucking my thumb until I was 7. Walking on your toes. I didn't stop walking on my toes for a long time. to the point where I had to get like threatened with surgery, basically, if I didn't stop walking on my toes. And there's just a lot of things that we just didn't consider. I'm not the most sociable person, so when he wasn't really socializing, to me it wasn't a big deal. He just likes to be on his own. He's a very smart boy, you know, academically he's on point. This is social things, he can be a little awkward. I can be awkward. Didn't think anything of it. But in school it was a problem. So, you know, we sat down and we had a meeting with a bunch of staff members from the school, who they all like voiced their concerns about AJ. And they told me, you know, if there's anything else worth looking into, you know, well, if we need to evaluate him or something, you know, we'll let you know. That day never came, actually. It wasn't until I was at a parent-teacher conference where the like speech pathologist and his kindergarten teacher sat down and told me, they're like, you know, the school can do an evaluation for free. And they were telling me this with a lot of compassion and a lot of concern. And I felt that, but I also kind of felt a tinge of, oh, maybe like she doesn't want to do this because she doesn't want to think her son has like some kind of disability, which personally I don't think is a disability, but that's for another time. And we were totally for getting him evaluated. So they did the evaluation. It was a really thorough evaluation. It was really great. And we sat down with some members of the school staff. So yes, there was a special education representative, speech pathologist, school psychologist, his teacher. Let's see, who else was there? There was a representative from our town who was like in charge of all that. There were people who, basically everybody who conducted a test on him, which included people who were staff at the school, but also people who were from different places, like physical therapy places. They came down and they discussed all the results, and we got everything like in writing, and it was very thorough, and it was really great. And the school actually really worked with us to help get him diagnosed with autism and help him have some accommodations. So that doesn't mean that everything has been easy since then. It really hasn't. So, you know, we got the evaluation, we got the accommodations, but we really didn't get any resources as far as how to be better parents with the children who have autism. And as a person, as in me, person who's highly sensitive, and empath, and I have some sensory things of my own that I deal with, it's a bigger challenge for me. So any resources that we received, we had to kind of look up and find on our own. So where are we now? It's a challenge. AJ is such a loving and sensitive kid. He's so sensitive. He'll pick up on any energy you give him. He gives it right back to you. So when my partner gets frustrated with him, like trying to get him out the door to go to school, and if he shows like any kind of like tension in his voice, AJ gives that tension right back. But if you just like let him cool down and just let him do his thing, and you just sit there and just let him know that you're listening and you're there, he's a lot more open, and he's a lot more suggestible, right, to actually doing things that you like for him to do. That said, he's a very, very strong-willed child, and I hope he remains to be a strong-willed adult so that he can live his life the way he wants to live his life and not the way that other people want him to live it. So that's the story.